Alright, we're live. I'm just going to be bouncing around getting all my boards set up. Live board, this is the Ali Qantas game. Ooh, that one's not set up well. Let's fix that really quick. Just going to fix up the live board. And the players, I assume, will also be messed up. Great. Just what I love seeing. And this is MVL versus Mary CG. Mary CG has 4 pawns for the piece. I'm excited to get to that game. Live board Mary CG. Welcome all to Chess League TV. I'm just going to post in Slack. And I'm going to see if I can get something pretentious on here. And I'm going to open up my Discord and see what's going on. So, let's see. Ooh, I should close my opening book. The first game we're going to look up is the T-Pow game. We have 3 board 1 games, which I'm really excited about. It's T-Pow versus Cape Farapont. So let's see what exactly is going on in that game. This game was King's Indian by transposition, it looks like. So we saw d4, knight f6, knight f3, and d6, which e4, because of this strange move order with knight f3, there's no longer e4 with a modern. So white plays c4, and now we should have a King's Indian after g6. Knight c3, bishop g7, e4 is sort of a mainline King's Indian. So let's see what happened. e3, okay. That's a little bit a different approach. Not going for the main lines, but instead going for something a little bit tamer. Bishop g7, bishop e2. Okay, we're not gonna have a something pretentious joining us. How sad. I'm gonna move my fan really quickly so I can try and get some of this game stuff on my laptop. Actually, give me just 1 second. I underestimated how much I need my laptop in order to stream. Or at least stream well. So we're jumping in a little late on some of these. That's okay. No biggie. No biggie smalls. Oh, I forgot to update my stream title. Haha, let's do that. I'm so disorganized. It's incredible. Who thought that one man could be this disorganized? New tab, new tab, new tab. So let's get caught up on this T-Pow Cape Farapont game. So we saw bishop e2. Did I change the overlay to the correct one? I did, okay, great. Bishop e2, castles, very normal. Knight c3, knight on b to d7. Castles, e5. Queen c2. This position looks roughly equal to me. Rook e8 is an interesting move because a lot of times black gets a lot of play with this rook on the f-file, but it seems like black has other ideas. Maybe of taking on d4 and opening the e-file. However, I'm never really sure of that plan for black. For example, after rook e8, if black were to take here, first of all, this structure for white has a lot of space and black has really given up his center. And the other issue is black is solving one of white's problems by releasing this bishop, and I'm not sure the e-file really gives enough play for that. So this rook e8 idea, it's probably more connected with going e4. But then if you're going e4, you're signaling you want a kinside attack with f5, f4. But you're not really doing that with the rook on f8. So I wonder if there was a better way to prepare e4. Like, to go like maybe c6, d5, and then e4 was possible. Because I'm not totally sold on this maneuver from black. Rook e8, rook d1, e4 played. But yeah, the issue is now one of your main strategic threats would be to go like f5, f4. But that's just going to be really slow. So knight d2. In fact, aren't you immediately having difficulties with this pawn? Right now the pawn is defended twice and attacked 3 times. So bishop f5, I assume. Or okay, queen e7. Bishop f5. Ooh! Good morning, everyone. Queen e7. But now white gains queenside space. This makes a lot of sense. And I feel like white's going to be quicker on the queen side than black is with this. Knight f8. So this bishop can come out to d7, maybe f5. It's really not a great piece on f5. This knight can reroute to e6, where it's a reasonable piece. I don't know, black's play seems very slow here. Knight f8, a4, white's taking all the queenside space. h5, a5, just hinting at the idea of going a6, softening up the light squares over here. If you take the pawns are so weak. Black played a6. It might not be necessary to go a6, although I'm not really sure what black is accomplishing with this h5 move, right? You can go h4, h3, but I'm not sure that's such a threat. White just goes g3, and it's difficult for black to access this hole on f3. It's not easy for a knight to come there. A knight it would take him 3 more moves, and it would just get taken. So I don't know about this plan. a6, b5, white is crashing through already on the queen side, and black doesn't have his play yet. He hasn't found his counterplay yet. Knight on 8 to h7, so he's preparing these ideas. And let's see, has white made another move? No, so now white is in the tank. White currently has 51 minutes, which means that he has really not spent a lot of time on this position, which is interesting. It clearly means that white is familiar with the position, or at least these types of positions. Ooh, the light board is not updating. Oh, did I link it to the wrong thing? Ha ha ha, let's fix that. No, I didn't. Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, let's fix that. Okay. So, we have this position, and we are going to see the move bishop a3 from white. This is an interesting idea. This sort of reminds me of that very famous game between, I want to say it's Ivanchuk and Yusupov. I know Yusupov had the black pieces. It's the game where Yusupov put his pawn, pushed his e-pawn to like e3, and then he had issues on this diagonal. So one of White's ideas might be to play the move. Well, I think there's two ideas here. The first is to go c5 and just really smash Black's queen side open. I think the other idea is to go b6, and the reason for this is that White has put some pressure on this pawn. So if, say, White goes b6 right away, Black can probably get away. I mean, it might be a transposition, honestly, with some sort of, like, I don't know, takes or c6. Takes leaves this pretty weak. But if you go c6, I mean, White can just transpose with bishop a3, so maybe it's not so important. But bishop a3 is a little bit more flexible because you haven't committed to b6, and maybe you'll play c5. And the point is, let's say, I don't know, h4, some random move. If White goes b6 and you go c6, you might, White would normally be worried about Black playing d5 and just cementing the pawn chain, but d5 is not an option currently because of the pin along the diagonal. In fact, White starts to have ideas here of trying to abuse this pin, like by getting a piece to this square. It's not very easy though. That's probably hogwash. So yeah, an interesting position. I currently think White is better. I don't see where Black's kingside play is really coming from. It seems slow at best, but I am welcome to the fact that I might be wrong. I am not T-Pow. I am Quirked, and I run this channel, and I do commentary for the Lichess4545 League. So this is a league that we play in. We have 3 board 1 games today, which means we have 3 very high level games. Both these players in the 2000s, T-Pow's 2200, K Farrapon's around 2100. Like the Lichess, and they have a really rich position here. Farrapon has just gone knight g4, which is probably a good move. He has to get something going here. Ideas could be queen h4, but yeah, queen h4 is a little bit annoying right now, because if White does nothing and Black goes queen h4, you actually have to take the knight because it's a double threat. So this is a little bit of a tempo move. In general, White doesn't want to play h3 in these positions because the knight goes back and all of a sudden this bishop has a nice hook to sacrifice itself on. I'm not convinced that sacrifice will be working at all yet, but for example, some knight g5, and we start to see that there are threats. This knight is in the way a little bit, I must say. Maybe after h3, the knight can go to h6. That's an idea, just leaving the diagonal open for the queen, and this knight will maneuver to f5. That's not the dumbest move I've ever seen in the world, actually. So after knight g4, I'm very wary to play the move h3, and I'm not really interested in taking this knight because this bishop is one of the few pieces that White has around the king side, and after bishop takes g4, I think Black can't be worse in this position. You can go rook f1 or rook b1, but maybe rook f1 is necessary because Black does have quite a few pieces over here. And now f5, f4, or like knight g, queen h4, knight g5. There's a lot of pieces. I'll give Black that. So after knight g4, it's not totally clear to me. So one thing to notice is White or Black has just sacrificed this pawn, which was something I didn't notice at first. The pawn is hanging, There might be bishop f5 ideas, however. So, for example, knight takes bishop f5, f3, I don't know. This looks... No, this doesn't work. Knight e3 with a forkaroni. Okay, knight takes e4, bishop f5. Bishop d3. Queen h4, yeah, on queen h4 I have this move knight f3. And miraculously, everything is held together. Somehow. But I feel like I can do a little bit better than black, for black there. Knight takes bishop f5. Can't go f3, but okay, bishop d3. Let's see what happens if I take here first. I believe you have to take with the knight. If you take with the bishop, queen h4, there's a double threat that's very difficult to... no, I can stop at knight f3. And you're busted. But this looks like a pawn to me. Unless I'm missing something, I think this is a pawn. Here's an idea. Nope, that's a dumb idea. I was going to suggest queen h4, knight f3, knight h2, and my idea was, well, if you take this, suddenly I pick up this knight. But of course, after knight f3, knight h2, I would not take the knight, I would take the queen! Haha! And I'm winning. So, yeah, this is not so clear. Everything just works. This knight gets this pawn, this knight gets this pawn, and I seem to be alive. But nope, this one doesn't work either. I keep trying for trickies. Sorry, not this line. Knight takes e4, bishop f5. No, can't do f3. Bishop d3. I don't have anything here. I got diddly squat here. Is that what you're telling me? That might be true. I think this is a pawn. So anyway, we'll leave T-Pow to decide whether he wants to grab this pawn or not, and we'll look at our second game of the day, which is Ali Qantas versus Scrooge. So let me make another chapter. Oops. So Ali Qantas. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Disaster. From initial. This is Ali Qantas versus Scrooge. Let's see what happened in this game so far. A Sicilian. So Ali Qantas going e4, Scrooge replying at c5, the Sicilian defense. Now, just a quick note. Ali Qantas would is my board 1, so there's a little bit of bias here. I would love to see Ali Qantas win. But we'll see. I'll keep it open. I don't know the names of the Sicilians. I think this is the Khan Sicilian with e6. But I'm not totally... I'm pretty sure this is a Khan Sicilian with e6 and a6. Which, the only reason I know that is I know that Eric Hansen has played this before. c4, grabbing a lot of space in the center. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like there are some Sicilians where you don't want to go c4, and I'm wondering if this is one of them. c4, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4. Yeah, because it's this quick bishop b4. Black has not committed to putting the bishop on g6, which means that the king side, the dark squares of the king side aren't weakened, which means it's not so ridiculous for black to give up this bishop for a structural problem. Ali went bishop d3, takes, so black has given up the dark squared bishop, which is often a really good piece for black in the Sicilian, but in exchange, white has a very crippled structure. There's double isolated c-pawns, which means that white will not have his typical like static Maroczy bind play. White actually has to try and play dynamically, create advantages with his unopposed dark square bishop, and try and open up the position and really get after black's king, probably. And d6 here, just preventing an expansion with e5 in the center. d6 also hinting that maybe either the knight or the bishop will end up on d7. So we played d6. Oopsies. Castles makes a lot of sense. Bishop g5, already proving that this piece is going to be annoying. It's very difficult to unpin the queen, so black might have to accept either a shattered kingside or a weakened kingside after h6 g5, because otherwise this pin will be here for a very long time. Knight bd7, hinting that the queen might want to pop out over here. f4, aiming for e5 at some point. But, yeah, black just steps out. He's not ready for e5 yet. Queen c7, queen f3, queen c5. This is an interesting little maneuver to bring the queen to c5. The queen is actually... it's funny. The queen is on an outpost square. Normally we think about putting knights on outpost squares, but it's really difficult to kick this queen away. You can with knight b3. Well, actually, no, you can't. The knight's pinned currently, and the knight on b3 is not so majestic, shall we say? So I think black is doing pretty okay here. I don't think white has huge attacking chances here, and black can continue to play against this structure. He can establish something hedgehogian with like, oh, not how knights move, with like b6 and bishop b7, bring a rook to the c file. He can also try and break out more quickly with b5, gunning for that pawn. So I think black has dynamic play. The position is probably roughly equal, or maybe even a little bit better for black. King h1, king h8. King h1 just stepping outside the pin. King h8 may be signaling that black is going to move this knight and allow a shattering of the structure, and he wants to be prepared to put the rook on g8. And we've reached the game position here. I think it's about equal. I think white doesn't have huge attacking chances here. A line that Ali Quantas has posted in the game link is queen h3, and then he gives sort of a bad move for black b6, and he goes bishop takes f6, knight takes f6, e5, cracking open the center, d5, fe5, queen e5, and because there's a mate threat, you have rook f6. But, of course, after queen h3, establishing the mate threat, black should not go b6, but black should do something a little bit more forceful. Probably cutting out this idea of by going e5 himself. It does give up the f5 square, but takes control of the center. There's currently not a lot of firepower on the g7 square, which means that giving up f5 is not the end of the world. And here, again, because of the structure, black should be fine. Okay, and Aliquatis has opted, instead of going for this queen h3 line, he instead brings the rook, continuing to develop, eyeing up e5, and now black maybe should go e5 just to say, white, you can't go e5. So this is our second game, the sharp Sicilian. White has won the bishop pair, but has suffered structural damage. Now we should take a look at our third and last game, which is Moist von Lipwig versus Marius E.G. So let's pop on over there. I'll show it myself for just a second. I am just a commentator, which means you can talk about the games as much as you like. I am not playing in any of these games. So this is the third and final game, Moist von Lipwig versus Marius E.G. And I saw earlier that Marius had 4 pawns for a piece. So let's see what in God's name happened here. I'm interested how black ends up with 4 pawns for a piece on move 16. It's a Slav, because of course it is. And okay, it's a full Slav, a normal Slav, not a semi-Slav. I call it the full Slav. I don't think that's its name. A4, yep. This is all normal. Bishop f5, knight e5. Also, it's also possible to go e3 and take here with the bishop, but I think knight e5 has become more popular as of late. e6. Okay, I do know this variation, f3. So what happens in this variation, I know how we got this position. White goes e4, and then black always takes on e4 and goes queen h4 check. And just sort of brings the white king out in the open. So black's going to sack a piece, and then for compensation against white's king. Bishop e4, e4, and bishop takes e4, just like I said. So the point is, after takes, knight takes e4, black has queen h4 check on tap. Both these pieces are very powerful, and white is quite some ways from castling here. Also, there's the threat of knight c3 and bishop c3. So black has given up a piece, but he currently has 3 pawns in the bank, and white has a couple of threats to deal with. Bishop d2, addressing the threat on c3. And now, instead of queen h4 check, the black queen comes crashing through on d4. And that's the 4th pawn that black has gotten for the piece. Plus, he has a lot of activity. The white king is still in the center. This knight, all of a sudden, has become destabilized. It needs to go. So a lot of good things happening for black in compensation for the piece. The piece. Knight takes e4. That makes sense to me. And now black has to have a think here. There are 3 possible captures. Well, okay, if you take this knight, no, that is possible because of bishop takes b4 takes. But then this bishop is actually quite strong. So I don't recommend taking this knight. If you take here, after queen takes, this is a little bit better for white, because I'm seeing this variation with takes, and if the queen blocks, you take here, and now the king has to take, which is a little bit less pleasant for white, I think. So instead of taking with the bishop, I think Marius took on e4 here with check. Yep. Queen e2 was played. If you go bishop e2, you're losing this piece back, and then black is just winning. So you have to go queen e2. And then black took here, which forces the king to come to d2. And black is down in pieces, so he's not interested in trading the queens. Also, the white king is less safe, so he's simply just doesn't want to trade queens. That would allow white to consolidate and probably win with his more pieces. I don't want to say extra material, because white's actually not up material, but he has more pieces, which would allow him to win more pawns. So queen d5 check makes a lot of sense. King c2, b5. Black says, I'm going to hold on to my pawn, my extra pawn. Remember that guy? Now, I'm going to hold on to my fourth extra pawn. Takes, white opens the rook. Queen f3. And now black chose to castle. And this is an interesting decision, because now white has to decide, should I take the queen? Should I trade queens? So, if you trade queens, you are up a piece, but I do have a 4-to-1 majority. That's a big majority. So, we're going to have something like f6 followed by knight c6 and d4. And black has clear compensation for the piece here. And this is on the board, actually. We saw takes, and white has gone rook d1, immediately putting pressure on this pawn. I'm interested now in f6. I do want to drive this knight away, although f6 does help this knight go really where it wants to go, which is the d4 square. So maybe wiser is to go just rook d8 immediately, and then you can come in, bring the knight somewhere. Black's having trouble with this knight, but white is having some trouble with this bishop. It's not so clear where the bishop really wants to live. White does have a clamp on this square, though, which is quite annoying. For instance, bishop e2. If you go f6 because you want to play knight c6, now I get my pieces into this really crucial square. And I think white is a little better here. Maybe black shouldn't take. But if you're not taking, then this knight is very pesty. Pesty? It's a pest. So I don't know about allowing these queens to come off. White does seem to have a blockade on the d4 square. So perhaps, let's see, what happened here? King c2, b5, takes, queen f3. The issue is, so first I thought, what happens if I take? But here, black has less, I think black's position isn't quite as good, and the reason is, in the other position, black had a 4-to-1 majority on the queen side, which means he will probably end up with 3 connected passed pawns. But here there's a 3-to-1 on the queen side and a 4-to-2 on the king side. And what I found in my years of playing, if you will, is that it's better to have like one strong majority than to have like tiny majorities on both sides of the board. So I think this is not great, but I don't really want to move my queen. Now, this is interesting. What's going on if I take the knight? So white has to take the rook. And my idea was that your your king is a little bit unsafe, but I'm not really getting anything that I want here. And now I'm down a rook of all things. Being down a piece, that I can handle. Being down a rook, I don't know if I can handle that. So queen f3 is a little bit of an annoying move with this skewer against the rook. It's still quite difficult to develop this knight, unfortunately. Maybe best was some... No, that would run into some issues. On knight d7, we run into like take, rook d1, which loses on the spot. And so, maybe black has to allow this, but... Yeah, the other thing is this hits f7. This move does a lot. This move really does a lot. Yeah, I think castles is probably correct. But I'm not convinced by this position for the black side. I think because of white's control of the d4 square, white is better. Alright, now that we've got let me give a line that Moist von Lipwig, the white player, posted in chat. Bishop e2, f6, bishop g4. That was not a move I considered. Takes, bishop e6, check. King h8, bishop takes d5. That's an interesting idea, going after this guy. Rook d5, knight c6 probably. Knight c6, king c3. I don't believe in this position for white. And the reason is I don't see a reason to do this, quite frankly. I think that after f6, knight f3, white is doing really, really well. Whereas in these positions, it's totally unclear what's going on. Just like king g8 probably. And I mean, white gets the rook on the 7th. But I can bring this rook and start pushing this pawn. I still have a 3-to-1 majority, so yeah, this feels very shaky to me. Anyway, this hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting on Moist von Lipwig to make a move here. So let's take a trip down memory lane to Mr. T-Pow's game. This was one of my variations that hadn't occurred yet. We had just seen the move knight g4, and I thought white could grab this pawn. And white thought the same. I had always been playing knight c takes e4 with the idea of this knight covering the f3 square. But T-Pow played knight d takes e4. And this doesn't feel quite as good to me. And the reason it doesn't feel quite as good to me is I don't have knight f3. I don't have knight f3 in these positions. So, for example, if bishop f5, bishop d3, queen h4, this feels like maybe there's an issue No, there's not an issue, and the reason is, when white took with the D knight, they got their queen controlling F2, so now just H3. Although, hold on. It doesn't quite work because it's two minors. This is an interesting position, but I think white's up a pawn here for not a lot of compensation. Bishop F5, Bishop D3, both played. Queen H4 played. H3 played. Knight E5. Excuse me? Knight E5? This can't possibly be working. If this is working, I don't understand chess. Okay, so black's idea is to activate this bishop, and he's willing to do that at the price of a knight. However, that's a knight, right? Say I go knight G3 here. Black is claiming that he has enough compensation here for a whole piece. I'm not convinced I believe that. I'm not convinced I believe that in the slightest. What exactly does black do here? Okay, say you take this. And then you take this. So there's some issue with this knight actually, but okay. Takes, check, king H1, takes. This just wins for white. I feel like, unless I'm insane. I don't see the point after knight G3. Knight G3. Okay, let me try some stuff. I'm gonna try and make some stuff work. We're gonna try this capture because we should try all the captures. Oh, here this isn't working at all. You're not even getting that extra pawn. Yeah. It's a little annoying. Okay, so instead of rook E1, I'm going to go E4. Just giving the queen a knock. And here, well, I mean, you can't take it, but then you're just lost. So this just doesn't work. So this isn't working. This I don't think is working. What else can black try? If black does nothing, I'm going to take this with something next turn. Black can try the Hail Mary, Lord Jesus. This one's a little bit nastier, actually. Because this is coming. And there's also the threat of coming in there. But it's two pieces. It's two pieces. And I wonder if I can do this. Now that's spicy right there. That's going to Spice Town. What the heck is going on here? It's like takes knight g5 maybe, and we have a total mess. Bishop e4. Just a total mess. Take, take, take. Bishop g2. No, now knight f3. I don't know, is this lost? Knight h2? You have to go back. It's a repetition at least. Okay, so I think that's the point. After knight g3, there might be this bishop h3 move, giving a second piece. Has any of this been played? Okay. White did not go knight g3, and this might be dangerous for white. It's not simple to stop this knight, I don't know, knight g5 to f3 idea. The problem is you want to go f4, but the g3 knight is just hanging. So yeah, it's not clear how you stop this plan. But is there bishop e4? Maybe there's bishop e4, not wasting a tempo taking this pawn. Here, white is probably okay. It's not so clear. It's really not so clear. It's 4 pawns for 2 pieces. I feel like white must be better here. It's just very complicated. Like, these pieces are not great. But okay, white did not play knight g3. White played f4 instead, which is probably a good move. And the reason I say that is black just sacrificed a piece to activate this bishop. And now white is saying, why exactly did you sack that piece? Because your bishop isn't active. It's shutting down the bishop. And if the bishop has to go back, now white can claim that black really messed it up because black sacrificed material and didn't get anything from it. In fact, here, I feel like black's attack is already defusing. Queen f2, queen e7, and just knight g3, and looks pretty good to me. If you want to take here, you have to trade queens. Although that's a lot of pieces hanging on this rank. For instance, let me take this, actually. Yeah, here, here white is doing very well. Oh, hold on, I hung the c3 knight in those lines. Ah, I gotta keep an eye on this guy. I can't hang him. That's a little annoying. I will give you that. f4. So I went queen f2. Which is not good, I don't think. Hold on, I need to look at this again. I'm having ideas of like taking here and then taking here and like giving a perpetual sort of. I'm not quite making any of it work though. I don't think I can go queen f2 here. I can, however, go knight f2, which is guarding some tender squares here. I did hang this pawn, but my idea is to trade pieces off like mad. But this is annoying again. Takes. I can't really take here because of this piece. So okay, bishop g7. Maybe I just consolidate the position. Bishop b2, and I say, what's your threat? What's your threat? You're not doing anything. If black ever throws down the gauntlet, I would have to say this can't possibly be working. Okay, let me protect that pawn, actually. So yeah, I think white is winning this game, actually. I think this was an unsound piece sacrifice, but I think the unsound sacrifice actually came earlier. Knight g4 giving the pawn doesn't feel correct to me. But I think the problems actually come earlier than that, because white has this strong queenside initiative and black is really forced to get something going quickly on the king side, where there isn't much. So I don't know if I could tell you where this position went wrong. Maybe with all the way back at rook e8. I don't know. This might be a real move. But maybe just c6 is a better chance. I guess you have to play rook e8 at some point. Unless you play knight h5. There's also this idea of going knight h5 at some point and going f5. But rook e8, okay. You have to go queen e7. You need that pawn. Yeah, it's just so slow for black. And here he gives this pawn, but it's a really important pawn. That's not a nothing pawn. That's the pawn that was cramping white's position. So, oops. So yeah, now we have this position. Black went ahead and really went for it. But if he just goes back, he's really given a piece for nothing. Knight f6 is very bad. He would have to go knight h6. But now I go knight g3 and trade off everything. And white's just up a pawn. And black hasn't really organized an initiative here yet. Although even here, this looks slightly dangerous. But it's not dangerous anymore, because this bishop hasn't made it to e5. So let's see what we had. f4. Okay, he did take right away. I looked briefly at this, but I wasn't convinced. Knight takes c3. White wants to trade more pieces. That makes a lot of sense. And rook takes e3. Okay, what's going on here? So the obvious move is to trade these off. And I'm asking black, what are you threatening? Because whatever you're threatening, I don't see it. I don't see it and I don't understand it. And here I can go something like, well, I'm not going rook e1. I'll give you that much. I mean, can I even just take this pawn? I hang my knight. That's not worth it. I don't need to play risky. I don't need to do anything crazy. Let's go rook d3. I'm allowed this check. That might be fine though. Yeah, white should be winning here, I think. I don't see anything for the black player. Bishop f5, gf5 on the board, and I think white is winning. So because I think white is doing very well, I'm going to move on to another game. I'm going to move back to the Sicilian we had with Ali Qantas versus Scrooge, where we had an interesting position. White's trying to prove he has dynamic compensation for the structural damage. So let's see what happened. We just left at 14 rook e1, and black went e5. This is what I expected. I was talking about this. White is really signaling, hey, I'd like to go e5. So black says, no, 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 no. No e5. Knight f5, very good. That's a great square for the knight. White does have a problem in that this bishop is literally the worst thing the world's ever seen. And knight g8. Can't say I saw that one coming. So, what's the idea behind knight g8? It clears the way for the f-pawn, so maybe f6 is part of the idea. It also guards the e7 square. But the e7 square was sort of shielded by the knight. It's also guarding these squares on an eventual like queen g3, bishop h6, or f6, because the knight is putting a lot of pressure. I think I know the point. So if you go g6, it's very annoying. The knight sort of tucks its way into h6. But after knight g8, maybe g6 is on the cards as well. f6 and g6 are probably both ideas here. Queen g3 and g6 played. Because there was a lot of firepower starting to brew on this square. For instance, say I play a bad move. I think white actually has this nasty little shot. And the point is you don't have time to take the bishop because you're getting mated. But, oops, yeah, you have to go g6. But then I grab this. And I think I'm winning. Maybe there's some tactical issues here because you have both these pieces are a little hanging. I'm not sure. But even giving the piece maybe with like takes. This might even be fine for white. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Queen g3, g6. You can't allow this silliness to happen. Bishop h6. Interesting. So Ali Qantas is saying, I would rather have my knight than my bishop. Because it was possible to go knight h6 and keep this guy on the board. But Ali's saying, no, my knight's very good. This should be taken probably. If you go rook e8, well, you're getting mated. So yeah, you're taking it and taking it. And what Ali's saying is, yeah, my dark square bishop was really good, but this knight is even better. ef4, queen f4. Hold on, ef4, really? Was it so necessary to go ef4? I guess maybe black is worried about f5, just continuing to open up black's position. Yeah, f5 actually probably is a threat here. For example, knight f6. Oops. f5. And yeah, this is not comfortable. So taking to prevent f5. Queen takes f4. That's a lot of pressure on the f7 square. So f6 played. You can't give up this pawn. It's too important to just sacrifice that pawn. So you have to go f6. And we have caught up with the game. Ali Qantas, the white player, down to 13 minutes, while Scrooge still has 22, so a time edge for the black player. But I think black is in some danger here. There's definite danger in this position. I want to make this move e5 work somehow, because e5 is really getting two of my pieces going. I really doubt that it works right now, but e5 is an idea that I have on my agenda. I'm also interested in pushing h4. H4, h5, a classic way to break down this. It's not exactly a fianchetto structure anymore, but it still has some resemblance to a fianchetto structure. So h4, e5, both good ideas. Problem is, if you don't play e5, black's going to play knight e5, and then you're not playing e5. Excuse me. I feel like h4 makes a lot of sense to me. It is also possible to maybe go after this pawn. For example, rook d1 and bishop c2 is a way to target this pawn. It's very difficult for black to defend that pawn, and if a rook came to d6, that's another good idea for white. So let's give a sample line. Rook d1, knight e5, bishop c2, and you can't go rook d8, but there's no other way to protect this pawn. Yeah, there's knight c4, huh? How unfortunate. Bishop b3, I want to take it. Am I getting that pawn? I think I will get that pawn. I don't see how you hold on to it. If you go rook d8, I take that. This bishop needs to develop. It's been stuck for so long. Bishop. It's a little annoying. It comes with tempo, right? That's not quite working out for white the way I wanted. Maybe I can go bishop e2 instead of going bishop c2. This is probably a better try, because now you don't have this knight c4, and I really am winning this pawn on bishop e2. That's a much better try. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I have enough control of this square that you can't mess me up there. I like this for white, this rook d1 and bishop e2 idea. There might be other good ideas. Black's position looks very tenuous here. Ali has said in chat, maybe just shift gears and hit d6 now. I like the plan. That's what I'm thinking. Rook d1 and bishop e2, and I don't. So I'm realizing how dumb I am. I'm just now seeing that this knight is actually blocking the pathway to d6. But I could even think of doubling on the 5. Yeah, like rook d5. There's an idea. You probably have to go bishop e6 to stop that. Because if I get to go rook d5, that's bad news for you. And here, knight g4 is interesting. Knight g4 with the idea of grabbing f6 takes, perhaps even bishop takes. Yeah, bishop takes is better. Yeah, that's not quite working out the way I wanted it. Because I'm not winning either of these pawns. In fact, black can grab this. What else can white do? I had this idea of h4. Let's try h4. h4, knight e5. Let's go bishop e2. Bishop e6, h5. The problem is I still don't have a threat. Okay. So what if I start with knight g4? I'm going to start with knight g4, which says, which is dissuading you from this knight e5 idea. Because now if you go knight e5, I'll grab the f6 pawn. And now you're in real danger of some h7 mate. Although, nope, I have mate here. You don't have time to grab this. Ah, but... This is very tactical. Knight e5 takes... Queen h6. You can't even defend this, because on rook f7, I just take, and you have issues on the back rank. Black has a lot of tactical issues here. I like this knight g4 move, actually, a lot as well. Knight g4 doesn't work, says Ali Quantes. Almost. Why not? What's wrong with knight g4? I mean, I think he just can't go knight e5. But if he can't go knight e5, then his life sucks. What am I missing here? f5 is unplayable. b6? Trying to develop the bishop, connect the rooks. That's not unreasonable. b6 is not an unreasonable move. Now, I'm trying to be cute here. It's not going to work. I have another idea, though. Bishop e7, e5. I have a threat of bishop takes g6. Nope. Well, Looks pretty good. Queen e7. Queen e7, and I have no idea what's happening. I think black is okay. I think black is okay. You have to trade queens here. Okay, yeah, it's not quite doing what we want. Ali went rook d1. But after knight e5, I'm not seeing exactly how he makes progress here. Because black's going to play bishop takes c4 here. Although, I'm not sure that's even so bad, right? Because on bishop takes c4, I can go takes and knight g4 probably. So there's still some play for white here. Anyway, let's see what happened in our crazy 4 pawns for the peace game between Moist Fun Liquid and Marius EG. Let's see how this has progressed. We had just entered the endgame. Oh, we have a leaping knight, it looks. So, okay, let me change the overlay. I didn't change it for the last game because I'm terrible. Oh, hey everyone. Sorry, I haven't looked at chat in a while. Sorry, guys. Undercooked Chicken 1. These are not my games, so I can analyze however I want. Okay, let's see what happened here. We just traded queens, rook d1, rook d8, and then bishop e2. Okay, black got his knight out to a6. That makes sense. Knight c6. Okay. So White's going to install his knight on d4 with tempo. Rook d6. That's an interesting move. Rook d6 is giving this this pawn here after knight e7 check, which was played. I wonder what's the issue here with rook d7. What's wrong with this move? Or potentially even rook e8. Well, okay, rook e8, bishop f3. That one's pretty simple. But rook d7, what's the issue? Maybe there's bishop g4. Maybe this bishop is causing me too many problems. But even here, rook c7, and I've got this check covered, which means I'm not losing this pawn. Perhaps just bishop f3 anyway, claiming that I'm going to win that pawn. Which might be true. Rook c8, I think, takes as playable. With the point being you have back rank issues, so you can't take here. Yeah, that's a little annoying. I think White is winning the d5 pawn no matter what. Knight e7, king f8. Knight takes d5. So now it's only 3 pawns for the piece. Oh! That's cute and I totally missed that. Rook d5. Now, but it's not so clear, actually. Because if black maintains all the material, black is winning. But there's a pin here, and if you protect the knight, there's a pin here. So there are 2 ways for black to play. Black can play... playing rook d8 is probably wrong, actually. If you're going to give the knight away, you should probably go like rook e8 and play this position. But I have a feeling that White's actually doing quite well in this position. The bishop is coordinating well with the pieces. It's guarding this pawn. This pawn is under control. I think, in fact, there's rook f1 as well. So I think White is okay here. So instead, I'm attracted to the knight b6 or knight c7. Go knight b6. But that does leave your knight on the back rank. There's no infiltration, however. This looks very good for black. I think this is quite good for black. And black instead chose to play c3. Really? C3. This one I don't understand. Let's say I take it. So if takes, he's gonna go rook c8, I'm pretty sure. If I take here, take, rook d8. I don't know. This white king is actually very close to these pawns. For instance, rook d1. I can run my king in and trade rooks, maybe, and my king activity might be good enough for an advantage in this endgame. Just to give an example, if the rooks come off, well, black's king actually did get fairly active there because I was wasting time moving my bishop around. So okay, takes, rook d8, rook d1, king e7. I bring my king. And now the black king can't really come any closer. Black can go a5 though. But already this is a better version. It's not so much better actually, right? And these endgames, I don't think black is winning, but I'm not sure black is losing. Like, those basically one of the white pieces has to stay on the queen side at all times. And so if black were to break towards the king side, white might very well lose all their pawns. So this is on the board c3, sorry, not that line. We're taking the bishop. cb2, king b2, cb2, king b2, and rook c8 played. So black is not interested in trading the rooks. I don't know, I think those endgames with the rooks off were reasonable for black. Maybe the issue with rook d8 is actually this move. Because on check, you're losing... Well, you're not losing something, right? Because if white takes this, you take this. And the less pawns there are... I mean, with only one white pawn, we are really approaching a theoretical draw. The rook and bishop versus rook is theoretically drawn. So... perhaps rook d8 a little bit better. Rook c8 can't be so terrible. Rook c8, rook a1, rook c7. This rook is really guarding everything. Rook a5. Is that a little bit unpleasant? But now that you've committed, no. I was gonna go here, but that would be a mistake. A grave mistake. That's annoying, right? It's unclear. You're gonna have to sacrifice a pawn for activity here, I think. Something like this. But even here, bishop c6. And white is starting to collect himself. Yeah, I don't know about this. I actually liked the position where black was only the exchange down much more than this. After bishop f3, knight b6. This made a little bit more sense for me. Black has 3 pawns for the exchange in an endgame. Sign me up for this endgame. Sign me up. I will play this every day of the week. Yeah, this looks great for black. So this c3 decision, I am not sure. And then rook c8, I'm also not sure about, because after rook a1, it looks very difficult. Mary CG says, I was probably a little too fast there. I should have played rook c8 before c takes b2. Yes, I agree. And the reason is now there's no rook a1, which is giving me problems. Because I think black does have problems in the game position. So I agree this would have been more accurate. If he wants to play rook c8, it should happen here. But now he's gotten himself into some hot water. Rook a1, rook c5. A better move than my move. But just bishop f3. Aren't I doing fine? This a-pawn is still weak. You still have issues. How to guard the a-pawn. Rook c7, rook a5. You have issues here. Yeah, I really don't like this for black. Anyway, let's go around the horn. We're going to do a quick check-in with our three games. So the TPAL game ended as I expected. White won. The game actually did not go much longer after this one. We saw bishop h5, bishop f5, gf5, knight d5. Yep. Rook e4. Knight takes e7, saying I'll take more material. Rook takes f4. White said I'll take a rook. You've got nothing. Knight g5. Rook d3, just guarding the h-pawn. Knight e4. Rook f1. Black had enough. I mean, white's up a piece and a rook. It's time to call it a game. So yeah, this there was a couple of dubious sacrifices from black here. Sacrificing the e-pawn, followed up with an immediate knight sacrifice. I just can't agree with these decisions. It's not enough. There's not enough compensation. So white won pretty cleanly here. Let's check on the Ali Qantas game. Ali Qantas versus Scrooge. What's going on here? We had this Sicilian with, we had just seen rook d1. Knight e5 played as predicted. And bishop e2, like I said. Bishop e6, all going according to plan. Okay, and Ali's gone for rook d4. So this is probably a better move than the moves I was giving. And the reason is, Ali's going to double on the d file. But I don't know, I'm not sure there's an active plan here beyond this, if I just hold the d file. It's true that black can't go hunting here. I don't think black can take this pawn. But this knight is out of the game currently. Can this knight get back in the game? I don't really know what black does either, to be honest. Okay, say black takes. Taking it with the bishop is a little bit annoying. Because after takes, the knight has suddenly guarded the d-pawn. But here there's knight g4. And I'm unsure. I am certainly unsure. The other thing is after bishop takes c4, so you sort of have to take, right? Because the bishop on e2 is hanging. Knight takes c4. Yeah, I'm not seeing a great way for white to proceed. White might actually be worse here. There's a... This move might be annoying. Rook d5. Rook d5 hitting the queen. The queen needs to find a new place to live. Preferably a place that guards the d6 pawn. Just queen c6 seems fine. You can even go queen b6, keeping an eye on this diagonal. Also keeping this check in mind. Just probing white. Hey white, is this check going to be a problem for you? For example, this would not be a good idea. Well, I mean, it might not be a terrible idea, but black is activating here. Let me check on chat. I haven't looked at chat in a while. Clocks are stuck. Give me 1 second. Great. Hopefully they're fixed. Okay, we have some moves. No, not this one. Bishop e6. Rook d4 played. b5. Now, I'm greedy. I'm really greedy. So, I'm wondering, I mean, can I take this already? I should probably force the rooks to come. But like after this, I like really wanted to take that pawn. It looked like a pawn to me. And boy, do I like my pawns. But okay. b5. Rook fd1. Let's quickly check on this. It's pretty bad. Opening the a rook is probably not what you want. So yeah, that makes sense. Bishop takes c4. Bishop takes c4. Knight takes c4. And if Ali is interested in cracking the d6 pawn, he is going to have to sacrifice an exchange. And I have a feeling it will not be for full compensation. There's two ways you can sack the exchange, actually. You just can't possibly have enough compensation here. I'm threatening like mate already. So yeah, it looks like black's a pretty clean pawn up here. The knight is really strong on c4. I think white needs to get this knight back in the game. It looks pretty on h6, but it's not doing anything. So the knight needs to come to g4. Perhaps I can challenge the black knight by going to e3. Yeah, and knight g4 has been played. So here, black is just a pawn up, and black I think has the clearly better position. We're heading into blitz territory, where both players are going to be under 5 minutes soon. However, with the 45-second increment, it's not truly blitz. So how should black continue? Black can put a rook on the e file. Black can continue expanding on the queen side. I would love to play the move d5 at some point, but white has really got that one on lock. Is taking on f6 a real threat from white? say I do nothing. I think it's not a threat. And the reason I say that is this move looks very frustrating. Because if it takes, you have 2 pieces hit. Yeah, that's just lost. So taking on f6 is not a threat currently. Maybe white will bring this rook back and then revive the pressure on f6. That's an idea. Return for the kill on f6. And black says, you will not be returning for the kill on f6 because I will play f5. That's a reasonable thing to say. This move is really annoying, actually, because white is not interested in taking this pawn. Only activates white, or only activates black, excuse me. Yeah, this is just terrible. f5 is a good move. It comes with tempo, and it's not really easy for white to resolve this move. I wonder what's going on here. Nope, that's just not going to work. Here. This move is reasonable. The other thing that this move does is it looks to eliminate the knight, which will open the d6 pawn for captures. Take, take. We might be running into some issues here. Hem. That's not what I want. This is a good move. This is a really good move. Maybe you have to go knight f2, but this must be lost. Yeah, the knight just hangs. I don't know what to do. Okay, Ali took on f5. That might be best. Any knight move seems to just lose the knight. I'm assuming rook takes f5 is coming. It seems most natural. You could play queen takes f5, but why would you do that when you can go rook takes f5? Rook f5. Where does this queen go? I don't even know. I have no idea where to put this queen. Queen h6. Just rook h5. Yeah, we could repeat. White would probably be happy with a repetition at this point. Queen h6, rook takes f5. Or sorry, rook takes f5, queen h6. Yeah, rook h5 is probably not best. I can threaten mate. I've heard that's good. It's pretty good. h3. Yeah, it feels like it's really coming apart for white. Anyway, let's see how this endgame is going for Mr. Marius and Mr. Moist von Lippwig. Oh, okay, so before we go, black has taken with the queen, which I don't like as much. The reason being I just thought that taking with the rook was incredibly powerful, But black is proposing an endgame, which of course would favor black. For instance, takes, takes, and now this knight is sort of marooned. It really doesn't have a square. In fact, h5 might be a big threat in this position. And so instead of that, after queen takes f5, Aliquantis played queen c1, which is covering the mate and dodging the endgame. If you, for example, go queen h6, you lose. Congrats. So you have to go queen c1, which is very annoying. Anyway, let's move over to that Moitz von Ludwig versus Marius EG, and we've arrived at a bishop versus pawns endgame, but this looks much worse than the one we were looking at earlier. So let's see what happened. Rook c5. Okay, I have to go back a little bit. Rook c5, bishop f3, king e7, just giving the pawn. You have to. You're losing that pawn somehow. King f6. Rook a6. King g5, going for the kingside pawns. Rook d6. f5. Rook d5. If you move the rook, you're losing this pawn. That's simply not playable. So we have to enter this endgame. And here, Marius EG is in the tank. This is probably lost. The only way that black can draw is by just getting all these pawns down the board and making sure that they all trade. So I don't know, king f4 seems like a decent start. I don't know if this is exact or not, but I'm just playing moves. White needs to get his king over. This is not the clearest thing in the world. We're threatening g3? Not quite, not quite. Yeah, this is getting close to drawish, but I think white will actually win this exact position. The point being, if you go h3, well, no, I'm getting myself screwed over here because of check, and well, this is a draw. Hold on. h3, g3, king here. And how do you save your pawns? I'm just going to take them all. This is certainly not working. This might be drawn. This might be drawn. I don't... white needs to get those... I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to have white get the pawns on light squares. So we're going to take that pawn, and here we're going to toss h3 out. But it's just not good. It's just not good. g4. I'm trading pawns. bishop here. This one poses more problems. This one's more problematic. It is the right colored rook pawn. Otherwise there would be no... No, it's a wrong colored rook pawn. This is a draw. This position is dead drawn. It's a wrong colored rook pawn. Dead drawn. Let's go to the corner. I just noticed. It's a wrong colored rook pawn. This position is dead drawn. White has just no chance to win. I didn't realize that it's a wrong colored rook pawn, but it is. That means like the position is dead drawn. I should go to what the game continuation was. I was playing king f4, which made a lot of sense to me. I want to shoulder White's king. Marius played king h4, which I'm not so sure about. The reason is now the white king can get up in the business a little bit more. I also think I've been making a mistake for white in that I've been trying to win this pawn. I'll win that some other time. I think white needs to immediately begin dashing with the king. That's why I want my king on f4, because I want to cut White's king off. g5. All black needs to do is trade off the g pawn, and he draws. If he can trade the g pawn, he just draws the game. This is coming. You can't stop me. You just can't. You can't stop this. I'll start with f4, so you can't play g3. I've just drawn on the spot. Yeah, f4. I think f4 was a little bit more accurate. Okay, so it was king h4, king c3. That's a better move than my move. g5. I think if you go f4, you just win. Well, maybe the white king can come up here, actually. For example, g5, yeah. So, okay, I was a little hasty with what I said. But even here, like h5. And black's in 6-1. Is black in 6-1? Now I have a plan of going h4, h3. I can do that too. This looks drawn as well. Everything draws. Yeah. I don't think you can trade the rooks when... oops, sorry. I don't think you can trade the rooks when one of your only pawns is a wrong rook pawn. It's just a draw. Let's see what's going on in the Ali Quantas game, because that game is looking like it's closer to having a decisive result. So we just saw queen c1. Oops, gotta promote that again. Queen f5, queen c1. What's happening now? The players are down to very little time. Rook a e8, that's sensible. h3, also sensible. Rook e2, black is incredibly active. Queen h6. If I were black, I would start looking for the combinations here, because it feels like it's falling apart here for white. This piece is incredible. This piece is incredible. There's a battery on the F line. I want to get this knight over to the king side somehow. King G8 played, followed by Queen H4. Idea Knight H6 check? That's an idea. Why did we play... I guess we wanted to protect the rook. So Queen H4 and Queen E6 quickly played. Idea... well, you can't give that check yet. It's covered too many times. Somehow I feel like White has gained some swindling chances. I'm not going to say White has improved his position, but White has gained some chances to make something happen this game. Always got to look for those swindling chances. I love me some swindling. What about A4 here? Ooh. Ali Quantas says maybe rook takes G2 wins. So say A4, rook G2, king G2, queen E2. Does this win? I find that hard to believe that this wins. King G1, what's the problem? This does not win. Unless I'm missing something. Rook G2, King G2, Queen E2 looks natural. Knight E3 check is not working. How is this winning? What am I missing? Am I bad? It's very likely that I'm bad. Shippy, you think that bishop ending is winning? I don't think that bishop ending is winning. I don't think it's winning no matter what. I don't think that this is winning either. I'm not sure what Ali Quantas was scared of here. King G1, maybe rook F3? But even here, first of all, you might be getting mated or something back here. I just don't see the threat, really. But I'm bad, so what do I know? Well, here maybe there's some knight E3 stuff. But yeah, This is dangerous, I'll give you that. Maybe I have Queen E1. This seems to hold together. I'm not sure that this was a threat. So I like this A4 move here. Ali played Queen G3 and Black just said, gimme. And now Rook F4. Denying the double on the second. The knight was already denying it. But we gotta do something. Yeah, I think A4 was the last shot. Just trying to destabilize the knight a little bit. Maybe open up the queenside files so this rook can get active on the queenside. Because playing against D6 isn't working. Yeah, this is just lost now. It must be lost. But with 1 minute on the clock, who knows? Who knows? What happens if black trades rooks? Trade rooks and rook g2 now is a problem because of the hanging rook on e1. It's an issue, no? Takes. What's going on here? Knight h6 check. What's going on? It looks winning. King h5. I think we're out of checks. I think rook takes g2 won there, actually. Boom. Taking advantage of the unprotected d rook. Although, no, you don't have time. Now the rook just moves. Anyway, not played. Queen e2 played. Also annoying. But hold on, we don't have the same sort of ideas up here. I'm not bothering you with this. You're not scared as black. I would be really scared of this as black. Black's saying he's not scared? At all? Of this? I guess there's this move. But still. g4? There's no problems here? This is not an issue. Why are we allowing this as black? Why would I ever allow this? This looks terrifying. This is forced. What checks do I have? Oh, if I can just get this rook in, it's going to be really unpleasant. Check, check. King, maybe king g5 is better. Then I have h4 check. Yeah, this is happening in the game. Queen f7, king h6 played. I assume queen f8 check is coming. You have to keep checking. I don't see anything concrete, but Lord, would I be scared. Load a load. Yeah, we have to pick a square for black here. The only thing that's like even remotely saving him is on rook d5 check, there's this knight e5. Because otherwise I think it's like close to busted. King g5, h4 check. You really don't want to step on the fourth rank. Then my rook gets active. g4 check. There's nothing here? Man, oh man. Okay, king h5 played. I think g4 should go. No, this is bad. This is really bad, because now he has to step on the fourth rank. This is not what he wanted. I think he had to go king h5. Because I'm king, or sorry, I think he had to go king g5. Because then h4 check. On the second check, the queen can take, and he never has to step forward. But because the pawns are being pushed in the other order, The g-pawn's protected here. It can't be taken by the queen. And now the king's going to step forward to the 4th rank. Oh, this is scary. This is really scary. Check. Check. Oh. Oh man. The other variation is he can take this pawn, but then this check happens. Maybe this is safer. Maybe this... And the queen's not coming in. Yeah, this is safer. This is a better variation. Man, oh man. And there's nothing here. G4, King G5. Is there some alternative to H4? Maybe I can like check here, force the knight, and then I go H4, and somehow there's a difference there. Take. My only check is this one. I have a check. I have a sneaky little check. That's a sneaky little check. Ooh, I missed that in the other line too. Rook d4, king h3. I got a sneaker. A sneaky little check over there. Whew. That's a sneaky one. After rook d5, check, knight e5, you take on h4, because there's no more rook g1. That's a reasonable thing to say. Am I causing you any grievance with this check? Probably not, right? But okay, there's that sneaky little check. I just go h4 right away. And when you try and hide, can you do this? You got that one. Oh, you want to walk up immediately. That might be reasonable as well. He did that actually. King h5, where's that? Oh my god. I have so many variations here. G4 check. Let's promote everything. King h4. That's clever. Yeah, I'm gonna run out of checks here, it looks like. How annoying. Rook, Queen h6, King g3, Rook g1, King f3. I got a double back with Queen f8. Keep them coming. Queen f8 check. Don't know what's going on here. King comes up. I think the black king is just walking his way out. Walking to freedom. Ali mentioned something which is interesting, which is the possibility of starting with rook g1. And now g4 actually becomes a powerful threat. But maybe black can just give the material back. g4, knight takes, king g5. Oops, I highlighted everything. Is this check annoying? Maybe a little. Maybe a little. Here, I think in the game continuation, there's simply nothing. We're running out of checks. Here comes the king. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. The truth hurts. Anyway, this game looks over. Let's see if that Moist von Liquid Marius EG game finished. Ooh, it has finished, or it has not finished, and the position looks very promising for white, which is surprising to me. So okay, the king c3 was played, g5 was played, bishop c6, b4 check, king takes b4, f4, king c3, g4, king d3, f3, bishop takes f3. Not a move I considered, but likely a good one. gf3, gf3, and king g5. You don't have time to go grab that guy. You gotta come around and stop this pawn. Because it's a rook pawn, it's not so clear. King f6. And both pawns are on the starting square. This should be won. Unless there's some stalemating idea. The point being, if we go h6, white's going to go h3, and we're going to have the same zugzwang. And if we go h5, white will also go h5. Very annoying. So I think you actually have to give... I have an idea. h6, h3, king e6. And now king g4, king, 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 wins. This wins for white. Yeah, I want to go back to this king h4 moment. Where was that? So say king f4, king c3, g5, bishop c6, b4 takes, g4, h5, h4, it's a zugzwang. This wins for white. So I need to play better. Somehow. Let's start with the h-pawn. That might be better. Because h3 is a very annoying threat, actually. Right? This is probably more difficult to deal with. You have to go g3. I think if you take here, you can try and abuse the g pawn, but I just go like g5, g4, and I think I am drawing. So like g3, but then I just come around, and you can't stop me. And this might be winning actually. No, I don't know if this wins or not. Oh, I blew it. I totally blew it. I thought this square was covered. But that's not how the pawns are moving. Yeah, that position is already tough. There are more winning chances than I thought. Okay, we saw... Anyway, enough of this foolishness. We saw the immediate king g6, king e5, king f7, king f5, king e7, abusing the control of the g6 square. But now I think white can go and win the pawn. And this should win, probably. Well, say I go and win the pawn. Is this going to be a stalemate issue of some sort? This will be a stalemate issue, actually. Sorry, not this line. The point is, if we play this variation out, it doesn't really matter what you do, where the pawns go. Okay, I shouldn't have played h4. Let's do this. So I want to hit you with this when my pawn's on h5 and it's check. So h4, h5, nope, I need to go h3. But the problem is, after takes, I have the h-file squeeze, and I'm drawing. This is not so clear. So, okay, king e5, king e7, and maybe white can somehow advance his pawns first, but I'm not sure how he would do that. This is a clever idea. Abusing the stalemate mechanic with the f and h pawns. You want to go king back to king f5 and zug. Well, okay, let's see. Oh, sorry, no. But I have h6 here, which should draw. Oops, not this line, sorry. If you go h6, I go king e6, and I draw. So maybe I want to go h4 after all. Let's try h4. Yes, this is all of a sudden working. But no, you're behind the pawn. It's just a stalemate. Yeah, it's just this is a drawn position actually. I'm pretty sure. Crazy. King g5 played after a long thought. Also, the Ali Quantas game has ended. He allowed his opponent to checkmate him, which is quite amusing. How did this end? King e4, check, check, and there are no more checks. Rook a1 played, graciously allowing the opponent to give the mate. Yeah, let's keep following our Moise van Lipwijk game. That's not where the game is. We just had king g5, king f7. I don't know if this is winnable. I don't know. What if I wait? Say I wait. What's happening here if I wait? Now on king g8, I'll go king f6, which I think should be winning. But I've been wrong before. And same on king f8. But if you go this way, now I come and grab the pawn. So waiting looks a little annoying for you. You might have to come up and play active and try and play this position, which is currently drawn. So let me wait a little bit more. Instead of going, or so after f4, I'll go a king here, I'll go h3, king back, h4, and now I'll go for this. And now you lose. This appears to win to me. After king f7, f4, I do not see a good... Oh, there's king g7. I'm an idiot. And then I've just done nothing. For some reason, I was blind to this g7 square because we don't have it in the king h6 lines. But here, king g7 holds it all together. Let me try and see what happens when I put my pawn on f6. Then my pawn's too vulnerable. then my pawn's too vulnerable. It's not going to work. I can't go king h6. I'm getting the h-file squeeze. h3 played. Moist von Lipwig is having similar ideas to me, but I don't think they're winning. Or sorry, we saw king g5. King f5 was actually played. King e7, h3, king f7, king e5. Now what's up with this move? Okay, say I keep the opposition. Getting the flank over here, outflanking me over there doesn't really worry me. So for example, this is just, I'm not worried. So yeah, king e7 played, or sorry, h3, king f7, king e7. This makes a lot of sense. I think it's a draw. I think it's a draw. I don't see a way forward. Sheppy, in those lines where the pawn gets to f6, even if white has the opposition, black still draws. It's sort of annoying. What don't you get? Because black will just guard it. I mean, not right here, but... So, okay, let me... In this position, if white goes to the h-pawn, this is actually drawn because of stalemate. You have no threat. If the f-pawn gets to f7 when my king is on h8, it's stalemate. And if the f-pawn arrives on f7 when I'm on g8, I take it and you're squeezed on the h-file. If you know how to win this position, I'll be impressed, because this looks as drawn as can be. There's no tempo thing. Let me show you f6. Now, if you go f7 right away, that's stalemate. Okay, so you're gonna be clever. You're gonna go h3, whatever. If you go f7, I take it, and you're squeezed on the h-file. It's a draw. But okay, say you push your pawn further up. Now you have to go f7, and I take it, and you're squeezed on the h-file. It's a draw. What would you rather do instead of h3? King h5? I don't care. How does king h5 win? Block white king to e6? I don't care. You want to go to e6? Go to e6. Be my guest. There are no mine squares. You can go to e6. Great, you got your king to e6. It's still a draw. This is not winning. This isn't winning. How do you win? Oh, hold on. Yes, this, I missed this idea. Huh. So that wins. I can't go h5. Let me try h6. No, that's not gonna cut it. That does win. That does win. No, I'm not impressed. I just played badly. I think I can get a much better version of this. I was just doing whatever the heck I wanted. Oops. So let's look at this again. This was forced. You could get this immediately. I had another idea here. What if I do this? Or what if I don't step back? For example, I have so many variations here that I don't even know where. Whoops, sorry. Okay, this is what we were looking at. No, not h3. You wanted to go king h5, sure. So what happens if I just go like... Oh, that's not gonna... What happens if I go h5 here? Not h5. What happens if I go... Excuse me. Or h6? h5, h4, king here? I'm lost. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm not convinced by that, Placer Hippie, but I'm confused what position you guys are talking about. So we got this. Black went king e7. No, but if I move my h-pawn, you just take it. Now h4 in this position? King f8 draws if the white h-pawn has moved, but not if both h-pawns have moved. I don't believe in this h4. What's your point? Okay, what's your simple plan? King g5? Okay. It's not 1-0. Show me why. Prove to me the 1-0. Okay. Where's the 1-0? I don't see a 1-0 here. I see a draw. H5, great. King G5, King G7. You want to go H6 here? I assume you already used to go H6. But what's going on here? How do you win? King F5, King F7. I just don't see the idea here. You don't appear to be making progress to me. F4, okay. Or not even that. F4, I'll go H6. You're in Zugzwang. That's not even close to winning. How in God's name could this possibly win? Okay, this actually might win by coming around. But what about H6? H6 you have this one. I'm still not sure that wins though. Yeah, this one wins. This one does win. So I can't play H6. And this wins by going around? Does it really? No, it doesn't. How does that win? Well, hold on. King E7. No. I've gone back too far. I'm lost in my variations here. It wasn't this one. I have too many variations here. H4. No, it wasn't. Was it F4? No, it wasn't F4. I have too many variations in this frickin' study. Not this one. Professor Hippie, why are you being such a dick? Like, just chill out. It's just a stream. It's just for fun. F4. I really don't see how this wins. King on E5 and then push F pawn. F4. F5. Why does this win? So we should go back to the beginning, because I literally can't find a win in this position. I have, like, Plaster Hippie's variation doesn't seem to win for me. Try h6. Oh, maybe I can do that. Let me do that. I don't think it changes anything. Like, I just hold the 7th, and I don't see how you win from here. This just draws. Okay, we have this position. You said this is winning for white. I really don't believe you. But tell me why this wins for white. This is not correct. This is what you told me. You said king g5, king f5, and then you go king e5, and then you told me to go king d6. Okay, f4. I play f5, f6 with king on e5 without h-pawn moves. Is this from the beginning position? What do you mean, how am I catching both pawns? You want to go f5, f6, and you're going to go king f5 here. Aha! No, that draws, actually. What did I do wrong there? h6. King d6? How? Okay, show me this king d6 variation. This I don't believe for a frickin' second. f7 was a win. Hold on. Let me look again. Not this one, not this one. Not h6 either. Why is f7 winning? Because I have to go h6. Yeah, I missed that. I missed that. You're right, this wins. This wins. This wins. Yeah, you're right, Vulpes. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know, for some reason I thought this was drawn. Maybe I thought it was white to move, he had to go h6 or something. But yeah, after h6, king d6. Anyway, let's go back and see what happened in the game. h3, I think we left it at h3. The game was drawn. It turned into a single h-pawn, which Moitz von Lippig pushed all the way up the board, hilariously. h3, king f7, king e5, king e7, f4, king f7, f5, king e7, f6, king f7, king f5, king f8, king e6, king e8. Is this winning? No, because I wasted this tempo. So when I go h4, h5... Hold on. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. So h4, h5, king, king, king. This is not so clear, no? Doesn't this just win? Am I dumb? This appears to win. So, what am I missing in this position? Alright, h5 can't be played. But after h4... Sorry, f5. h4 was not played, but it looks very strong to me. I think you have to go king f8, but then you lose. What am I missing? Then just king f5, and you lose. King f8, f7, h5. Ooh, that's nice. Yep. That's nice, that's nice. So you go h5. No, doesn't this come back to a position we've seen before? Ah, not quite, because after h6... No, h6, f7, you lose. King e8. Oh, how brutal. h6 is going to close the door. Well, King f8, f7. No, king f8, h5. Yeah, this wins. This whole variation wins. This is winning. So this was a missed win from Mois van Lipwijk. Here, h4 wins. King f5 was played. King f8. King e6, king e8, they repeated. And f7 check played. Yeah, that's probably what draws the game. King f8, king f6, and black correctly goes h5, which is just a dead draw after king g5, king takes f7, and the game is drawn. It's only an h-pawn. So, a good game. But yeah, there was a couple opportunities for Mois van Lipwijk to go h4 there. This was the first one. In this position, h4 does win. King f8, h5. Anyway, a good endgame lesson here. A tough endgame. The bishop and pawns endgame was very interesting. And the 2 versus 1 king and pawn endgame was very interesting. The presence of h-pawns always makes things a little shaky. Yeah, when you play f7, you just give too many stalemate tricks. And then black is drawing. Anyway, those were our 3 games. 3 very interesting games. I'm glad we had a bunch of board 1 games going on at the same time. Those are always fun to watch. Thank you all for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure to stream, and hopefully I'll be doing some streaming on Sunday of this week. I think I'm going to be playing my game on Sunday, but hopefully I'll also be doing some other stuff on Sunday as well. So thanks everyone for watching, and enjoy your Wednesdays, and I'll hopefully see you guys on the weekend.